change a carburetor, I most certainly want to learn from the best in that field. Don't you agree? There are, by the way, some excellent and accurate resources that are written by experts, and they are referenced on the enhancement PDF that accompanies this audiobook. Most of you will not be able to schlep all the way to New York City to become my patients, but listening to Menopause Confidential will be like having a fun and informative conversation with me. I am going to address all of your fears and concerns with easy-to-understand information that is based on scientific evidence. You don't have time to slog through a complicated and lengthy medical treatise, so I am offering you the Busy Woman's Guide to Midlife Women's Health. The following is everything you need to know, and I promise to clear up all the confusing information about perimenopause and menopause. Menopause Confidential, though, is far more than just a compendium of advice for dealing with hot flashes and midlife muffin top. It's a head-to-toe and everything in between guide to living a healthy life. I want you to not only start feeling and looking better right now, but also make great choices for your health in the future. How often do you need to get a PAP? What about mammograms and colonoscopies? How can you guard against heart disease, the #1 killer of women in the United States? What is the secret to losing weight in midlife? There's a lot of confusion out there, and even the stuff that is on target can be overwhelming. So let's get this show on the road and have some fun learning and getting smarter by the minute. My story. Many women do not like to reveal their age. I am not one of those women. When I turned 50 years young, I shouted it from the rooftops. I was born December 18th, 1964, on the small island of Manhattan and raised on a crazy block in the East Village called St. Mark's Place. My parents, Rick and Renee, bought apartment buildings in this area in the 1960s and 1970s, a time when the neighborhood was gritty, dangerous, and filled with people doing drugs and living on the streets. As a kid, it was my job to sweep up the hallways and front stoops of my parents' buildings, so I got to see firsthand the harsh effects of taking drugs. I like to say that kids often rebel against the environment they are raised in, and I was no exception. I rebelled against the bad choices taking place all around my neighborhood. Instead of doing drugs, I stayed in my room and did my homework. I loved school, and I loved getting good grades. I went to a small Jewish elementary school just 3 blocks away from our apartment building in the East Village. My brother Mark and I had to walk through the notorious Tompkins Square Park, teeming with addicts and homeless people in order to get there. Mark had kidney disease, and many of my childhood hours were spent visiting him in the hospital. I can still remember the exciting wheelchair races we had in the hospital hallways. Seeing medicine at work up close and personal at such an early age really influenced my career choice. There was no doubt in my mind that I would one day become a doctor. I had already decided by the time I was 6 years old. My brother grew up to be a lawyer. My mother, the landlord, used to joke that she wished one of us had chosen to become a plumber because plumbers were so expensive. One could make the argument that I did indeed grow up to become a plumber of sorts for women. I spent the next 4 years at the prestigious Stuyvesant High School, located just 6 blocks from home. I never really made it out of the East Village until it was time to go to college. I attended Johns Hopkins University as a pre-med student. Next came medical school at the State University of New York at Stony Brook on Long Island. When it was time to choose a residency, I selected the University of California, San Francisco, not only because it had an excellent program, but also because it was time for me to experience somewhere besides New York City. To this day, I consider myself a sister of San Francisco. Early in my career, I practiced both obstetrics and gynecology. I really loved delivering babies, performing surgery, and being a partner in the lives of women going through both major and minor health issues. However, at some point in my early 30s,